I'll just wait till it.
Understood. Good time for a break.
Just a couple quick notes. One thing on the website.
State your name, please, and address.
Todd Luzot, 21 Post Road. One of the things on the website, I was one of the things, being on the technology committee there was a lot of good discussion about integrating the different types of portals or and such for the teachers and students and stuff of that nature, and maybe that should be kind of bundled into an overall. The other thing is e-forms and stuff of that nature. Maybe the tech director and the media director should be involved in that discussion as well. And just my own insight based on my in those meetings, because they had a lot of good ideas. The other thing too is in regards to I guess with NCLBs, No Child Left Behind, and waivers. One of the things as a parent, and I think this is, maybe I come across very bullish, but honestly, I'm really sick of coming to presentations where I've got to watch videos of, this is your brain on digital, this is your brain not on digital, that kind of stuff. I don't want that. I'd like to understand, like the packet that we just got when assigning homeroom for my kids. One of the things is you go in there and there's a thing saying, we're a school in need of improvement, and then it flips it over and it's 6th, 7th, and 8th and math score issues and stuff of that nature. This implementing a new programs all sounds great and wonderful, and I'd love to get the same stuff the board's getting in terms of the PowerPoints and stuff with Common Core curriculum, but I'd really like to see a debate, a discussion, and really good questions, and I'm certain Dr. Littlefield can handle it. But what are you going to do to improve teaching, if that's the problem? And what kind of incentives or standards there are going to be? And, I mean, we always implement things. Everyday math, it's supposed to be a savior. I'm not certain if that did anything. I'd really like to understand, and I'm not saying that there's some guarantee, but I'd like to see something that's compelling. That may be compelling to the teachers themselves as well, to say that they've got to change the way they practice. The only gauge that they have is the outcome. And every year after year after year, I haven't heard how we're going to change things. I just hear that we've got a new program, but there's no real gauge of. And maybe what I'm thinking is maybe how is the board going to manage performance accountability and really kind of look at, you've got some programs here, and it sounds like they're working through some stuff, and that's great and wonderful, but nobody asks the question how they're going to scale it. How's it going to be scaled through the school? What's the timeline? What's the milestones? I went onto the website, and I found a thing from 2000, I want to say 2009 or something, that we talked about that we're phasing out standardized testing by 2010 or something of that nature. And of course, I think, and maybe that was just a kind of a forecast of something. But those are the kinds of things that I see when I look at the legacy from the school, or things that have been presented to the parents or presented to the boards, that there was these grand things that just kind of fell by the wayside or died on the vine or something of that nature. So it's kind of like on the BYOD program. I think from my perspective, I just want the facts. What are the liabilities? That's fine. Because I always judge things by preventable risk and strategic risk. The strategic risk is the stuff that you do. You say, well, this is a benefit to my kid, and it's worth the risk. So that's a strategic risk. And I signed up and sent my kids in with devices, understanding those risks. But most parents don't understand that risk. And when I feel like we're hiding from just open and honest conversations about it, and I feel that we're doing a disservice to the citizens. And that's really kind of what I'm looking at. Other than that, I look forward to the new school year, and thank you for the updating that thing, for separating the text from digital images. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hi, Debbie here. First of all, I want to commend the board for the system of speakers, because it is wonderful. It gets us as the audience to become more engaged, because we can hear what you guys are saying, and it's much more. It's so much beneficial for us. I was wondering if there is a way that the audience can get any information on the reports of the administration. I've asked this to a number of people over the years, but I never really quite got an answer. Because I'm sure it would be of interest to anybody who goes to these meetings. You just approve them, but we don't know what's in them. You know what I mean? So that was one of my questions. And then thirdly, just as a note, you guys were talking about the BYOD information night, but it's listed as forum on here, so I don't know if you're gonna list it for the parents thing. Like, it got confusing when I was listening to your thing when you were saying forums, and I didn't know if you're talking about the forum that you're really talking about versus information night. So maybe just be more, when you're talking about one's an information night versus the forum, they're two different things. And it wasn't clear at first because it said forum, and that's not what you guys were talking about to begin with. So that's all.
Thank you.
Hi, Leva again. I just want to piggyback on what she said, I guess. The distinction between the informational meetings and the BYOD meetings, I didn't see any thing on that. I know it's a work in progress and all that, but is there going to be any opportunity at those school district informational meetings for public input, or is the presentation going to be done and everybody, goes home? I would just throw that out there just for our educational purposes for anyone watching, or what the intent is there for those 3 meetings, separate from the BYOD. Thank you.